One of the unique things about my New Testament introduction is that I place it in the larger context of the grand narrative of the Bible. And one of the indicators of that is that I have an entire chapter devoted to the Old Testament, not just a sentence or a paragraph. Some introductions have just one sentence or a short paragraph on the Old Testament. I have an entire chapter because I'm trying to place the New Testament in the larger context of salvation history. And one of the reasons I wanted to do that is I remember when I was a first-year seminarian, and I couldn't, for me the Bible was just so many small pieces, and I didn't know how they all held together, what made the Bible cohere, what made the Bible a unity in a sense. And it was George Ladd's teaching when I was a student at Fuller Seminary, which brought me to understand the way in which the Bible connects itself with various parts. And what Ladd used was a Heilsgeschichte approach, a salvation history approach, which enabled one to see the Bible as a single story, as a large, great story, in which the New Testament was the fulfillment of the Old Testament narrative, the Old Testament promises. And that enabled you to see the connection between the two parts of one great story. Not two stories, but one great story, with the interconnected parts making up the entirety. One of the things about that is it enables you to give credence to the stress on fulfillment in the New Testament. So Ladd's formula was you have in the New Testament fulfillment short of consummation. And so I have framed this book around a salvation history schema, using the kingdom of God as a basic paradigm, because that's the basic message of Jesus. So starting with what Jesus taught. And when I talk about the message of Jesus, I'm talking about the way in which Jesus proclaimed the kingdom of God. So I call that section of the four Gospels the Proclamation of the Kingdom in the Gospels. And then when you come to the book of Acts, you have what I call the preaching of the Gospel, which is in effect the preaching of the kerygma, the basic core narrative of the death and resurrection of Jesus as the very heart of the Gospel. So that's the preaching of the kingdom in the early church. And then after that you have the interpretation of the kerygma in the epistles and the consummation of the kerygma in the apocalypse.